I visited President Lorenzo in Angola for something else, and we got to talk about corruption there. And he says, HH, my young brother said, yes, Mr. President, you want to fight corruption? He said, a few things you need to learn from us in Angola. One, he said, don't assume that those that are charged with the fight against corruption are committed to the fight. Some of them take those as just mere jobs for a salary. Really? I can work for an institution and I'm not committed to the dues of that institution? He says, yes. That's what I found out myself. When I first took office, it's him talking now, it took me 3 years to figure it out because there was no progress we were making. So why was it taking 3 years? He was asking. And I kept on hammering. And he's a military man, right? He says, no, there are issues here. So he says, there are certain laws that will not allow you to do your job properly. Look at those issues. There are certain institutions that mutated over years. I'll not give further details, but he gave me a tip. After he gave me those tips, I asked him a question, how much have you recovered? He says, now we are sitting at $25 billion. After changing certain laws, after changing certain individuals in institutions, we also decided that asset recovery is important. And he explained to me. And he said for him, it was doing that against his own political party, against colleagues in cabinet, against those who nominated him to become the president. I called my teams here, said, let's benchmark. You guys need to go to Angola. And they went to Angola. Not once. They're here, they're sitting here. They went to Angola. Yes, they're here. And I said, go and check for 1, 2, 3, 4 things. They came back, briefed me. I said, no, I don't think you were attentive there. Go back. They went back. And when they came back, I said, so now, what do you think we should do? We should be doing? One of it was the police. Another area was the legal issues. And I said, you, the lawyers, itemize the laws we need to change. Another was the institutional aspects, including bringing multidisciplinary skills institutions together. And I'll comment about this because this is very fundamental. And I whispered to somebody, please get in touch with the Chandler Foundation. Their approach to open government is very important. Today, Mr. Chairman, go back to the institution and ask your members, how did HH, is it true that HH knew about the Chandler Foundation? Someone whispered to you, yes. But they couldn't say so because if they said so in those days, they will be ostracized. But once we formed government, I remembered. And I said, let's reach out to those. And I'm very delighted that today they are part of this package of partners. Now, do you really think that a head of state who is not committed to the fight against corruption will take those steps? Do you really think so? We are very committed to the fight against corruption. The difficulties we've had is how to get a job done professionally, quickly, and effectively. My colleagues isolated a piece of legislation which some of the speakers have highlighted, including, I think, the chairman, ambassador. And we went ahead to change those pieces of legislation. We also went ahead and created the Financial and Economic Crimes Court. We went ahead to pass other pieces of legislation and regulations to allow us to prosecute corruption much faster, having been amazed that since President Mwanawasa died in 2008, one case was only concluded months ago. How could you fight corruption in that environment? You embode the corrupt. Absolutely. That statement, Minister of Justice, you indicated my first address to Parliament when we were elected into office. I was addressing Parliament and colleagues were giggling there that, this one, he comes from the private sector, he doesn't know how public sector works, he will get nowhere. We are getting somewhere. There's no question about it. We're getting somewhere. But we needed to understand what was standing in our way. What we've done can be commended. And you see that in our ratings. Already my colleagues have spoken about it. Transparency International ranking. And this is the first time the country made a positive movement in 10 years. Did it come by chance? No. It is these things that we're saying we had to do. Knowing that without doing the things that we did behind the scenes, we stood no chance in hell to achieve anything.